Hey, Walker, thanks for your time. Uh, what there's a lot of expectations around this group. It's a young, talented bunch of players and a team. How do you guys handle that expectation now that you've reached the end of the line in qualifying and where this team should be when these final 3 games are over?
I think we're excited. You mentioned it's a young group, but it's also a group that has a lot of experience at the club level, playing in big games, and then now also having a full World Cup qualifying cycle in front of us. And so, guys have gotten good minutes, they've gotten good experience, and then now we obviously head into a very important window with confidence and excitement because we are 3 games away from achieving that goal of qualification.
Is there a level of nervousness or anxiety now that we're at the end and there's not much room for error anymore?
I don't think it's nervousness. I think it's, again, excitement. It's, at this level, you want to play in big games. You want to have that responsibility and recognize the importance of it and embrace it. And so I think we have that kind of DNA amongst a lot of our players. And so, again, just excitement and ready to kind of get going.
Next will be Drake Hills from the Tennessean.
Yeah, Walker, good to see you again. The platforms are already elevated, and you've mentioned obviously this matchup historically, and it's Mexico at the Azteca. But given the obvious objective for you guys specifically in going to Qatar, what's at stake? What do you think in this game? And given the timing of it, right? It's the first of the 3. That's the first question I had. And the second part is obviously points-wise, record-wise, you and the U.S. and Mexico are right there neck and neck, but with different schedules, right? How do you think that plays into the way you guys are thinking and how this game may turn out?
I mean, there's no question it's a very important game for both teams, being tied where we are in the table. And so it does hold importance. But at the same time, I think we're approaching each game in the same manner. We're trying to get points. We're trying to hit that qualification mark. And so we're prepared to go in there and try and grab 3 points, no doubt about it. And then we'll try and do the same again in Orlando and again in Costa Rica. We're going to try to win these games, have good performances, and ultimately that's what's going to help us reach our goal.
Next will be Sam Stacekel from The Athletic.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Walker. Hope you're doing well. You hit on this a little bit earlier, but what's kind of the balance like for you guys between the weight of what happened in 2017 and trying to get American soccer back to a World Cup and the desire of this team not just to qualify, but to sort of write its own story? It's a lot of new players, not many that were involved last time around. So what's it like balancing those two things?
I think having seen that, we know the responsibility, again, that we have as players, representing way more than ourselves, representing this country. And I think for the most part, everyone has gotten behind that. We accept that responsibility. We know that it's our job to qualify, and that's our expectation. And so, again, guys are prepared. It's been a really good environment as guys have rolled in past day or two. And so now we're just looking forward to one game at a time, and that's what's going to get us there. So I think, accepting the responsibility, not letting the pressure mount up on you or feeling overwhelmed by it, and just collectively going out and accomplishing our goal.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, Walker. As you look at the 5 road games so far, are there any common threads for the periods where the team played well on the road versus where it didn't play out well?
I think having confidence to play are typically some of our better moments come from having that composure to try and play and make things happen. But at the same time, I think, preventing cheap goals, early goals that we shouldn't allow, that's very important. The longer the game goes and haven't conceded, that's a very important thing. Our confidence will grow as we build into the game. And then it's the mentality that we know that we can take over and win it, whether it's in the second half or later on, deeper in the second half. I think the longer it goes scoreless, the longer we stay solid, we'll just keep growing into the game and get a result.
What has been the stretch on the road you thought the team played most effectively?
Yeah, I'm trying to go through all the games in my head right now as well. I thought we started out really well in Jamaica. The first 10, 15 minutes I thought was how we should come out. We were very aggressive. We got the early goal, and we seemed to be in control before the long distance strike. That's the kind of start that we need. Being on the front foot, pressing, winning balls in the opponent's half, and trying to create chances on goal. And if we can get off to good starts again, like we did there, then I like our chances a lot.
Next will be Jeff Carlisle from ESPN FC.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Walker. You guys have had this run of really good results against Mexico of late. I mean, to what degree can you take things out of those wins? And kind of on a different line, you've moved back and forth between a 3-man and a 4-man back line at club level a lot. I mean, coming into a national team environment, how tricky is that kind of transition?
I think we can take some confidence from those games, just knowing that, hey, we've done it before, we can do it again. But at the same time, it's qualification. Those games don't matter anymore, and it's again about qualifying for the World Cup, and it's a very important game for both teams. So sure, we can take some confidence that we've played well in the past against them this year. And then in terms of the rotating between a 3-man, 4-man, we train it a lot. We go over these kinds of pattern play or tactics a lot to determine, okay, how does it look on the training field? Is it something that we want to incorporate into this game? And the coaches kind of make those decisions. But in terms of me personally, it helps having that flexibility at the club level. It helps having the flexibility within a program to always be able to adapt. But end of the day, it's, we're going to go out there, we're going to compete. Allow the coaches to make some tactical changes if they see it fit, whether that's before a game, during a game, and we'll be ready as players, making sure that we understand that if that is necessary, we know exactly what our roles are and that everyone's on the same page.
Next will be Daniel Nora from Univision.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, Walker. Last time you were very excited and looking forward to play in the cold. Actually, you deserve snow for the last game. How about playing now in the altitude? And what have you heard from the teammates that went down to Mexico the last qualifiers? And what is your approach for this, considering all the facts that represent playing in a historic place for football?
It'll be great. It'll be a great challenge for us. Not too much experience of playing in Azteca for a lot of guys. Certainly we have a few who were there and involved last cycle. And we know it's going to be a challenge for sure. But again, just in the same way that we prepared for that game in Minnesota, from a mental standpoint, I thought we approached that the right way. And this is no different. Yes, it'll be challenging. Yes, we're up for that challenge. And so there's no doubt in my mind that we'll go out there with a good mindset and push through the elements, continue to encourage one another as we make our way through the game and come away with a result.
We'll go to Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Walker, for doing this. I know he hasn't reported yet or gotten there yet. Gio Reyna back in the team for the first time since the first window. What kind of boost does that give you guys with a couple of regulars out through injury this window? Thank you.
We're thrilled to have Gio back and involved in qualifiers. Obviously, he's been out for a little while, but I know just from speaking with him, and you can tell just even from his game on the weekend, he's super excited to be back, to be involved on this team. And again, it's all of our goals to qualify for the World Cup. So I think knowing him, knowing the kind of guy that he is, he's chomping at the bit to make a big impact in these 3 games, and we're going to need it. And he's the kind of guy who can change a game. And so having him available, having him in any capacity is a boost for our team. And as you mentioned, amidst the other injuries, it's a great to get him back. So excited to see him. Glad that he's back and healthy, and I know he'll be able to help us.
Next will be Jonathan Tannenwaldt.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Walker, for the time. I'm sure you've observed as well as anybody else is how sort of panicking the fan base is, because it's a little bit their nature, I guess, at this point. But, how important is it going to be, especially knowing that Mexico is going to throw the kitchen sink at you guys, given how the last results have gone and where, where they are in the standings and all that, calmness in the moment, calmness on the ball in the stadium, calmness going into all this with everything that's going on. Just keep your heads about you. How important is that?
It's massive. It's huge. It's a big part of the potential success that we have is our ability to mentally stay calm, stay disciplined, stay organized, handle all of those things that you mentioned, all the different factors and elements, whether it's the altitude, whether it's, them throwing everything at us. It's handling that in a good way, staying level-headed. And I think we have a group that's proven that we can do that. And so, again, building off of the mental strength that we had in that Minnesota game, we'll embrace it again and come out with a really good mindset to get a result in Mexico.
We'll go to Felipe Cardenas.
Hey, thank you, Michael. Walker, I'm just wondering, what do you take away from your performance in Cincinnati when you faced Raul Jimenez? What did you learn from facing that type of striker? And just when you face the front line that Mexico has, both centrally and those two wing players that come off and sort of switch on and off, whether they're central on the wings, what do you take away from those performances? What are you learning from the Mexico attack?
Well, they have a lot of talent. You definitely have to respect their strengths, know what their strengths are, and try to eliminate them as best as you can. And I know that based on that first performance, that they probably walked away not satisfied with their attack, and so we can expect them to be definitely up for this game, trying to prove something against us, and we got to be ready to match that. And so I thought we did a very good job that first game. They broke through one or two times that created big chances, and Zach stood up big. So eliminating those chances, and I thought we did a lot of really good things with our ability to step, not give them time, good 1v1 defending, strong in duels. It's going to take all those things again and more to make sure we can shut them down.
Our last question for Walker comes from Andrew Jones.
Thank you, Michael. Walter, first, congrats on the goal you scored this weekend, despite the result for Nashville. You have Eric Palmer-Brown in the camp for the first time, and then George Bello coming from Gold Cup and now in the qualifying for the first time. What's your thoughts in regards to them and their progress towards how they played this season, particularly with George making the move to Bielefeld in the Bundesliga, and how EPB has made his whole note with Troyes and Ligue 1 and how they've been going so far for the first day of practice?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a big move for George, and he was involved in the first window for sure, getting some minutes against Honduras. But it's a confidence booster for him to have just gotten that first start over in Germany, and that's the next step in his career. So it's nice to see him getting some minutes now, and he should come in with confidence, knowing he should be ready to help his team in any way he can. With EPB, another young, promising talent that has continued to make his way up in Europe and progress as a player. He has a lot of really good qualities about him that can help this team. And so it's about integrating very quickly, having the confidence that he's here for a reason, needs to train with confidence, because should he see the field, he's a guy that has the tools to help this team. So nice to have him in camp. It's a well-deserved call-up, and looking forward to watching those guys take advantage of any opportunity that they could get.